Aloha, my name is Ms. Heather, and I want to thank you for coming to this meeting about RTI, which is the response to intervention. Before I discuss this with you today, I want to first say that your child is such a wonderful spirit to have in the classroom. I understand from phone calls with you both and meeting briefly in the beginning of the year that you both have stated the importance of the Native Hawaiian culture in your home. You also stated that you have family that speaks in Hawaiian only. If you want to bring them to the meetings and you need an interpreter, please let me know ahead of time and I will try to make those arrangements for you. You also mentioned that you are both involved in your local church as well as in a halau that you both dance in. I think that is wonderful, and I think that your child clearly shows that when they come into the classroom. All of these things are great support groups for your child, and it definitely shows. Your child is very enthusiastic about learning and teaching others about their native Hawaiian culture. Daily, they will come into class and gladly share a Hawaiian word that they have learned. They will also help others to pronounce the word. Another great thing that shows your child's love for their culture is their knowledge of Hawaiian plants. When they notice a plant on our walks around campus, they will gladly point it out and share about it with their classmates. I just want to say thank you again for showing your child the importance of their culture in this way. One thing I noticed was your child's love for music. They sing and dance at various times of the school day. It definitely shows that by being involved in your church and halau, that this is where they get it from. Maybe as a family we can integrate your culture in a cultural day, and you can show us a dance or song that is important to you. Or maybe you can assist during May Day. So again, this meeting is to inform you of RTI, which is Response to Intervention. RTI is composed of 3 tiers. Each tier works with each other to give your child the best education possible. Within each tier, the group size gets smaller to give a more individual instruction or intervention. Now remember, as we go through these tiers, even if your child needs more intervention than their peers, it does not define your child. We want to help your child succeed in every way we can. Now, as I said, RTI is comprised of 3 tiers. The first tier, Tier 1, is universal and the tier that all students work with. About 80% of students all strive at this level. It's diverse education with weekly monitoring for students and 3 screenings a year. There is 90 minutes of uninterrupted instruction in reading, and you as parents are informed of all goals and methods of instruction. The second tier, Tier 2, is more targeted for about 5 to 10% of students. There is a smaller group instruction with 3 to 5 students in each group to give a more focused instruction to the students' needs. Progress monitoring varies from once every 2 weeks to 1 time a week using curriculum-based measurement, or CBM, to measure the targeted skills. Tier 2 instruction is in addition to Tier 1 instruction with 20 to 30 minutes, 3 to 5 days a week. The time frame for Tier 2 intervention is between 9 and 30 weeks, and it's dependent on the skills to be learned, the rate of progress, and age and development of each student. Tier 3 is the last tier in the RTI. It is more intensive and is for those with insufficient progress in Tier 2. This is approximately 1 to 5% of students. The group size to teacher instruction is 1 to 2 students at 30 to 60 minutes for at least 4 times a week. Progress monitoring will happen at least once a week to determine the student's response to intervention. As parents, you would be notified in writing on all accounts. You will be informed of the amount and nature of data and in the general education services, strategies to increase the rate of learning, and you will also have the right to request an evaluation for SPED if you choose to. Now that I've told you about the 3 tiers of RTI, I would like to discuss with you about your child and instruction ideas and even some additional support for you and your family. After the beginning of the year screenings, I noticed that your child did not like to read out loud or would tend to take longer in reading assignments, and while independent reading times, they would stay on the same page for maybe days at a time. With some one-on-one time in the classroom, I noticed that their fluency with words, or how they sounded out words, took a little longer since they needed time to sound out some words. This also made their comprehension more difficult. After testing, it was found that their reading is below grade level. I believe with some individual instruction that they will be able to get to grade level with time. I also think that by using what the student knows and is comfortable with, maybe songs from church or the halal, that they may be able to help with their comprehension difficulties as well. Some additional resources that I would like to introduce you to are some reading groups that are at our local library. This happens a few times a month. As well, I would like to introduce you to some companies with Native Hawaiian resources. Kamehameha schools have wonderful resources for the Native Hawaiian culture. You could probably go to their website and look through it and see if anything appeals to you. Another resource would be Aha Punana Leo, and I know they are very forward with their Hawaiian language. And Alulike is a great family support system. I want to thank you again for coming to this meeting with me. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at our classroom number. Mahalo.